Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Patrick. So Colt Capperrune has got a new video out, and the title this time is 2026 Will End Music Careers, and it's again about AI. He's got several videos out about AI, and that's well appreciated. Always different insight, maybe a few new topics. So he goes a little bit up and down with it. He changes his mind on a few things, and I think that according to the comments, he comes up with a new video and adds some information. So that's really appreciated. And not only for Colt Capperrune, but also other people that talk about AI and what it can do and what it cannot do, and what the impact will be on us music lovers and artists and mixing engineers. Now, I talk a lot about AI with people, and I see that people are really afraid losing their jobs, not only in music, like mixing engineer or mastering engineer, but also in companies and even factories, that people think that, yeah, when will my time be that I will be laid off? But I just would like to analyze a little bit Colt's video, because he said a few things that made me think. So yeah, let's dive into it. Okay, I just want to be clear. This is not a video that I want to go against Colt Capperrune. I really like what he does, and I watch his videos, and that's why I take his video as an example. And as I said before, he said some things that I wanted to analyze a little bit. So the last video, that 2026 will end music careers, just be aware that I took that video merely as an example to make this video. So the first thing that I wanted to say is about statistics. I mean, if you as a musician, you want to give your opinion about certain things, and that goes the same for myself as well. As far as AI concerns, there is not a lot of information out there, and there are no statistics about whether mixing engineers lose their jobs or mastering engineers. Colt said that he doesn't even know one mastering engineer that lost his job due to AI. So, and the reason for that, I think, is because AI in the music industry, as becoming a mixing engineer, becoming a master engineer, a producer, I think that AI really on the level of having really great success, I think that AI is too new for that, because you really need a lot of information to get things done. Hence, that all the AI music productions that you can hear on Spotify or elsewhere, they almost always sound exactly the same. They have the same nuances, they have the same mixing vibe. So I think that it still takes a long time, as Colt said, and I totally agree with that, that we will get to the point where AI music will become really, for us musicians, let's say it like that, bearable. Okay? So there are still not a lot of statistics, and that's when I think that giving your opinion just because of knowledge out of experience is a dangerous thing, because I always think that if you want to give information to people out there, it's nice to give it out of your experiences. But when people become worried, I think that you need to come up with more statistics, that you have a little bit more hard evidence. So that is my first advice to people who really would like to achieve something in the music industry, but they hold back because they think that maybe there won't be any chance for them to have success. I just think, wait for it, look for statistics, and see where it's going to. Because at this point, for the music industry, also with copyright protection, etc., we don't know where it will go to. We can only guess. And I think that we still need a little bit of time to gather information, evidence, to really see where it's going to. Okay, then on the other hand, there's a little bit of a contradiction here, because if you think about technology and why it would stop, when technology has ever stopped getting better. I mean, the Wright brothers, they flew their first airplane, was it on 17 December 19, oh, I've written it down, I think. Yeah, 1903, 17 December it was, with the first powered airplane. And even before that, the first hot air balloon flight was on 19 September 1783. So just imagine that. Nobody says, let's go back a few steps. It's always, let's go forward. And that is something to be afraid of, not, but to be aware of with AI. Because AI won't stop. That is impossible. But you can always be a part of the evolvement of AI. That means you can learn AI, you can learn how it works, and you can learn how to benefit from that. So I think that if we are going to start to live in a world that has AI involved, I think that we need to adapt it. The same as when you learn a guitar, the same as when you play the drums. If you want to become a mixing engineer or you want to write songs, and AI is going to be a tool for that, then we are bound to learn what AI can give us. Now, we could go back and say, I refuse that. I totally refuse that. I don't want that. I want to make my own music, which is really great. It's really great. But as I said in my last video, I think that the younger people among us, they think differently. And we still need to be productive. So I think that we should all learn a little bit of, at least about how AI works and what it can do and what it can do. Because if you know what it can do, then basically you know what you can do to be different from the others. So whether you fancy AI or not, I think that if you really, really want to get into music business nowadays, I think that you really need to know a bit about AI and where it is used and what you can do to avoid it and what you can do to help yourself with AI. So the next thing is about, well, I just go, of course I made a few points here that are in front of me, but it's not in chronological order. So I just look at it and I think, okay, yeah, I would like to say something about that. And the next thing is about, it's not about losing your job. It is whether the music industry will continue creating jobs. That is what AI is about. Because I remember that Colt was speaking about creating a resume, maybe working for free. When you work for free, you basically say, I will work for free because I'm not worth money. And you shouldn't do that, because music is business. But completely working for free just to get into the scene, well, I wouldn't do that. When I started playing music, playing guitar, I did a lot of jam sessions, okay? And that was sometimes 3-4 times a week. And of course, you do that for free because they just call you out and you just get a few people together and you start jamming. That's for fun and it's for learning. But it is only for my own education. I do not help anybody with that, only myself. And the other ones that you play with, of course. So you do something together to get better together. And then I think that doing things for free when they are for yourself, that's completely different. But when someone asks you to do something for them, you have to charge money. That's it. Okay, the next point that I would like to talk about is how fast it will go. Well, let me say this. when you go out to the corner shop to buy some milk. In that time, when you get to the corner shop and you've ordered the milk and you've paid it, AI will have already improved tremendously. That's how fast it goes. And you still have to go back home. Now, for the music industry, let's think about this. That is a little bit different. So, but if you think about what's that company called? It's Access Analog. Yeah, it's Access Analog. You can go on the internet, everybody knows that probably, where you can rent a real LA2A or other hardware, and that you can basically rent it for half an hour and then to put your voice through it, and then you can have a really hardware compressor and you pay for that. Colt said that he thinks that it will take a long time still, that if you want to have the delay on your voice a little bit up or the hi-hat a quarter of a dB louder, he said that will be completely different, because then AI will make a completely new mix and that will start sounding synthetic. So if you look at Colt's video about that, he had the example of the photo that was recreated 100 times and it just became something hilarious, okay? But if you imagine that the hardware is controlled by robots, and the robots, they respond to AI impulses. You can let AI make a mix in that case, and then eventually, if you want to change a few things, you could say, I want this or that or that. They turn the knobs with these robots as they do in Access Analog, and hey, you have your change in 5 minutes or in less than 5 minutes. So I think that that is possible. The point is, does the music industry want to go that far? That is the whole point. As I said in my last video, if the music industry can make more money, then they will do that. But in this case, if you want to have something like Access Analog, then that needs you need to have a lot of money to set that up, of course. And I don't think that that is going to be there worthwhile. So I think that we shouldn't be afraid so much. But in the long run, I think that anything will be possible. So my final thoughts on this is that learn how to use AI. Because if you know how to use AI, or at least what AI can do and what AI can do, you know where it's going to. And if you know where it's going to, you are prepared. And if you are prepared, you can make decisions. I said it in my last video. It's planning, making decisions, terminating them. That's what it's about. The most important thing of all, if you want to become a professional mixing or mastering engineer, don't let anyone tell you how it will be in the future. Not me or anybody else. You need to make a plan and decide for yourself how much time a week you want to dedicate to following how AI is moving. Look for statistics, not only in the music field, but also on the working floor, business, stock market. Look what AI is doing to other markets as well than only just the music industry. You need to educate yourself about AI the same way as you would do to figure out how your next door neighbor, who's also a mixing engineer, got that job at this great fancy studio. Music is not only music. Music is a bit of music and a whole lot more around that. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.